Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is the Town of Somers Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. The date is September 20th, 2022. Denise, would you please take the roll?
Ms. DiPolito?
Here.
Mr. Hardin?
Here.
Mr. Lansky?
Here.
Mr. Newman?
Here.
Mr. Padavani?
Here.
Chairman Canestra?
Here.
Thank you.
I request everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, everyone. We're going to go right into our agenda this evening. The first item on the agenda, and I would ask, as the matters are called, some of our applicants are online, some are here in person. I would ask you to just speak up, give us your name and address. And for anybody here in the room, just come up to the microphone and just speak into it so we can all hear you. So the first item on the agenda is that of Noah Clark and Cassandra Shearwood. This is an application to renew a special exception use permit as new owners of an existing accessory apartment in the basement of an existing one-family dwelling in an R80 residential district at 2529 Route 35, Amawalk. Is someone here to represent the applicant?
Hi, yes, I am.
Okay. Is that coming from online, Denise?
Yes, I'm online.
Okay. I don't see anything on screen, so it must just be a phone call as opposed to an appearance.
Yeah, Vic,
Yes.
none of our applicants that are on have a photo, so you should be
Okay.
listening to phone calls only.
Okay.
Okay.
And Paul, are you good?
Yeah, I'm trying to have her start her video, but she's not doing it.
Yeah, I don't think she has a video. Can't do it, just a phone call. Okay. So ma'am, could you please give us your name and address for the record?
Hi, this is Cassandra Sherwood at Route 2529 Route 35, Amawalk.
Okay. And could you just briefly describe your application? It looks like you're a new owner of this property.
Yes, my fiance and I just bought this house, and there's an existing apartment that we need to renew the special exception permit for.
Okay. And has our building inspector, Tom, have you been out there to inspect the apartment? And is everything in compliance and same as before? Okay. Are either you or Denise aware of any complaints regarding this apartment? None. Okay.
I'm not.
You want to shift all the mics down one? Sure, no problem. Okay, no problem. So Tom, I think you said that there have been no changes to the apartment, and also there have been no complaints regarding this apartment, noise or otherwise?
That's correct.
Okay. Denise, you're not aware of any complaints or issues with the apartment?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Any other members of the board have any questions for the applicant?
Have you pumped your septic tank?
The previous owner has a receipt within the last, I believe, 2 years having it pumped.
Thank you.
And I have a copy of it.
Okay, thank you, Denise.
And is the apartment currently rented?
It's not being rented. We just have a friend residing in it for now.
I'm sorry, did you say it was rented to friends for now?
It's not being rented. He's just living there a little bit.
And how many people are living there?
One.
And do you know what your future plans are for the apartment? Are you going to rent it to family, or you're just keeping your options open?
We don't really have any plans to rent it. We just want to make sure we keep the permit in good standing.
Okay. Any further questions of the applicant? Is there anybody here or online who wishes to speak in regard to this application? Any comments, questions? No? Anybody viewing online, please be aware that we provide phone numbers online that you can call and you can come right into the meeting. So if there's any members of the general public who would like to speak in regard to this application, please call in now and we can patch you into the meeting. We'll just give a 30 seconds just to see if anyone calls. Ms. Sherwood, do you have any further comments in regard to the application or anything else you'd like to say before we vote?
No, not at this time.
Do we know when the initial permit was issued?
The permit on that property has been, I'm sorry, I can't think of the words. They received the permit quite a long time ago and they renewed it every 7 years. And Noah and Casey just bought the house. So they had to renew it as new owners within 6 months after purchase.
Right, this is a new owner, right, because the 7-year permit expires when a new owner takes over.
Right.
Yeah, they actually, the former owners actually just renewed it within the last probably 3 years or 4 years.
I believe it was 1989
Okay,
that it was first approved.
thank you, Tom.
Any further comments, questions? Nope. Okay, I think we're prepared to vote on the application. Do we have a motion for the type of action?
Type 2.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion whether we're going to extend or grant the 7-year special exemption use permit?
Make an application to grant the renewal of a special exception use permit for a period of 7 years or until new ownership.
Second,
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Bill Harden.
Thank you, Bill. Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Congratulations, Ms. Sherwood. Your application has been granted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yes.
Second item of the agenda this evening is that of Lisa Muir. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is an application for a variance for a side yard setback for an existing for an existing one-story sunroom to an existing one-family dwelling in an R80 residential district at 25 Sun Hill Road, Katona.
Right.
Could you give us your name and address for the record, please?
It's Lisa Muir, 25 Sun Hill Road, Somers, Katona, New York. It's a mailing address.
Can you briefly describe your application for us?
So this was my grandfather's house and then my parents' house, and there's a sunroom on the side. I have pictures for you guys, actually.
Okay. Thank you.
So I guess they're not within 40 feet, so we needed a 4-foot variance because they didn't file permits, I guess, back then. But it's been there since, I don't know, I'm 59, so.
So this is pre-existing.
Oh, yeah. It's been there forever. So I had an architect draw plans because there's none. Shoot, you want them emailed?
I do see this survey of the property here.
Yeah. So we had a survey done. My parents just passed away, so I have a survey done. I had plans drawn up for the sunroom, the addition. So I guess it falls 4 feet over the line.
I was gonna say, you need 40-foot setback, you have 36 feet,
Yeah.
so you need a variance of 4. I
Yep.
see that.
And are you looking to obtain this to then sell the property? Is that-
Yeah. Yep. Yes, because there's an open permit for a CO, which was never, so, you know,
Right.
I'm going back and back and back.
You gotta get everything cleaned up before you sell,
Exactly.
preferably ahead of time, but
Yeah.
it's
I would have,
come to your
I would
attention.
have liked to
now.
have known that. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah, so I have plans. I don't know if you care to see them. But that's-
I don't think so. I think this, I think, yeah, you can provide, We have this, yeah, we have the survey. Actually, could you just state the microphone? I'm sorry, because we may have some questions for you. No. So this is pre-existing. You haven't added on to it or anything like that?
No.
You can just take a look at this.
No, and I think I would say my parents moved in there 30 years ago after my grandfather passed away, and that was there then. So they never did anything to it. So
Okay,
that I can think of.
What's the distance from your property line to your neighbors?
So I think that the end of that is 30, it was 36
36 feet
feet
seems to be
short.
existing.
Yeah,
From the sunroom to the property line. You know how far
Right.
your neighbor's house is?
That's what I meant.
oh, no, that's probably another 50 feet in. The house next door.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's well over 50 feet. And then on the other side, there's, again, another 100 feet probably.
Have you had any discussions with your neighbor regarding this or they
No,
would have been
I think
notified?
they sent letters out. Yeah, I think the letters were sent out, right, Denise? I gave you
Within a
like all the-
radius.
Yeah, yes, letters were sent out to all neighbors within 250 feet of the property line, and I did get one or two inquiries as to what it was for, but certainly nobody objected to it.
So there's nothing above it. It's, as you can see, it's just a one story.
Any other questions of the applicant at this time from us? No? Okay, I'm going to ask if anyone present or online would like to say anything in regard to this application, questions or comments. We have provided phone numbers online so that you can call into the meeting if you have a question. We'll just give it a few seconds. Ma'am, is there anything else you'd like to say in regard to the application?
No.
Okay, it doesn't look like we have any comments. No one here in the audience would like to speak in regard to this application? Any further comments or questions from the board? Any issues? Last chance, anything else you'd like to tell us before we vote?
No, there's nothing else to tell. It's been there for, I guess, a long time and it seems to be structurally okay. So,
Okay.
yeah, I think it's good.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for a type of action.
Type 2.
I'm kind of feeling like right now, you know, those boys are.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion as to whether we're going to grant or deny the application?
I'll make a motion to grant the application as submitted for a 4-foot side yard area variance.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations, your application has been granted, and I will return your photos to you. Have a good evening.
Thanks.
Okay, so we're going to continue on to the third item on the agenda this evening. This is 1 Primrose Estates. This is an application for less than the required separation distance between a new dwelling and an existing shed in an R80 residential district at 126 Route 139 Somers.
Yes.
Sir, if you could give us your name and your standing in regard to the application?
Frank DeSienna, 126 Primrose Street. This is a house we were constructing for my daughter at 1 Primrose Estates.
Okay, so you're constructing this house for your daughter?
Yes,
Okay, and you're working through the company 1 Primrose Estates? Is that
well, that's the address of the property.
this is the address of the
And
property? Okay.
Primrose Estates is the owner of the property.
Is the owner, 1 Primrose Estates is the owner of the property?
Yes,
Okay, because that's who the application's named in. Okay. And could you describe your application for us. I do see that there are photos here.
The application, there was an existing shed on the property when we subdivided it. And the location of the house adjacent to that shed requires a variance. It's too close to the house.
And the house is new.
House is being constructed now.
Okay.
Why wasn't there a request for a variance prior to construction of the house?
We didn't know the exact location of where the house was to be placed at the time.
Yes, sir. Can you speak into the microphone just a little bit or maybe move the
Yeah, the
microphone up a little
exact location of the house, we didn't know at the time.
Wasn't it set on the site plan?
We had to move it a little bit because of the, there was a hill and we hit bank run, so we had to move it a little bit. And they allowed us to keep the shed for construction purposes, to store material and that.
Yeah, because this is not an existing situation, obviously. This is self-created that you've built a building.
Right.
A new building, not too close to the shed.
Well, we were gonna keep the shed just for the storage of material during construction.
Right.
And then we were gonna take it down, but the shed is helpful, you know, in the future, you know, for storage and stuff.
Oh, I see. So the original plan was to pull the shed down, which makes
Right.
more sense in the plan
Right.
because you wouldn't normally get approved for building a house this close to an existing shed like that.
Correct.
Okay. And now you're saying you'd like to try to keep the shed.
Yeah, to replace the shed, I mean, it has a foundation and all. To replace the shed in another location would be extremely excessive. So thought would be to keep the shed where it is.
And this shed has a garage. Is it intended to be a separate garage as well?
No, there would be no access to it because there's stairs going down to it, just a shed,
Yeah, there's a
just
gar-
for storage.
right. There's a garage door there, but there's no way you can get a car in there. It looks.
No,
like, right?
no,
You got stone
that
walls.
was the original garage
Right.
as it was, but no, it would just be used for storage.
Is there a garage in the newly constructed house?
There's a 3-car garage.
3-car?
Yes.
I mean, what is the normal required distance between a house and a shed like this?
Half the height of the adjacent structure, which is higher, in no case less than 10 feet.
So it looks like half the height of the adjacent building is 13 feet 6 inches
Correct.
is required. So 13 feet 6 inches is required.
No, half.
Under 5.
What was that now?
We have just under 5.
And we have just under 5. That shed is really close to the house, isn't it? So basically we have kind of a hallway in between. Yeah, because the variance is 8 feet 9 inches. Okay.
Do we have something in our code? Do we have a certain number of garages which are allowed based upon a formula?
Yeah,
Codes
garage space for one vehicle per 10,000 square feet of lot.
of lot, and how many square feet a lot do we have?
Square feet, it's an acre and a half.
Okay, so 60,000 feet, and we're allowed 6 spots there,
That's what you would be, yes.
so he's well within that, so that's not.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, the proposed use of this building is not for a garage, though.
It's for
Yeah.
storage.
Yeah.
Well, that would be my second question.
Yeah.
If it has a garage door, some code would say it's garage, which is-
Right.
but it doesn't matter because he's within, right? So he has,
Right.
so not an issue. That's what you're
Correct.
Saying,
Yes.
so you don't need to go to the sentence.
And this, this garage, or this structure, in terms of lot coverage, building coverage,
There's no issue with
No
with
issue.
any other. No, the only variance required would be the separation distance.
This is an R80 district, but it's only about an acre and a half a lot.
Yes,
So it's below the R80.
they did a conservation subdivision, which came in with smaller lots.
Okay.
so are there, was the original lot just divided into these two, the original lot and the
No,
new
it's a
one?
4-lot subdivision.
Okay,
How many square feet is the house?
52.
5,200 square feet?
Yes.
And how big is the shed? Square feet approximately?
It would accommodate, let's say, one car, maybe 200 square feet.
10 by 20?
That's what it is.
Tom, do you know what is the intent of code requiring space between the buildings? Is it there for safety reasons? Is it?
I don't know why our zoning addresses it. The state code, the New York State Fire Prevention Building Code has separation distances, and there's a lot of criteria that comes into play when those distances are called out.
So
But
it's
as
safety
far-
and fire probably is.
That's the New York State code. Yes, the zoning code. I don't know what the purpose, what the history is of the requirements for separation distance.
Distance under the state code, do you know?
It's like 36 inches in this instance. And I
Only
think the-
36 inches, really?
Yeah, our code says unless the state code's more restrictive, I checked the state code. The state code is not more restrictive. He'd be going to a variance.
So it's only 3 feet.
Up in Albany, if he wanted to change that.
It's only 3 feet for the state code then?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I was thinking, if this little shed caught on fire, its closer proximity to the house could, cause a problem with the
Well,
house.
we plan to do the shed over. It, that's the original shed, but we would use fire retardant material, cement board, metal roof and all that to deter that.
Is there any electric? Does that shed have any electricity?
There is electricity, yes.
When you redo the shed, is it possible to shift it over at all?
No, it's on a foundation. And it's right on the property line from the neighbor, in the required setback. It's there, so we couldn't move it anymore.
Oh, then you're
It's
against.
15 feet from the neighbor.
Yes.
If we approve this, I certainly, whether we will or not, who knows, but certainly, I think we should put a requirement of fire retardant materials here so that there's not an issue. Because, sheds contain paint and,
Yeah.
thinners and who knows what, but they're certainly more prone.
This is zoning. Zoning's about density and FAR, not about the building code. And, we allow, as most towns in the area, cluster zoning for people to get away from the setback requirements and move things together and create more open space. This is not an issue. I mean, look what we have right down here, with the townhomes, right? I mean, look what we have in Heritage. Like this exists all over the place. How we got to this is a different question, but from a zoning issue, I wouldn't, the building code's a building code. That's not our purview.
The only thing I would say here, though, is that, we can put in exceptions for safety and also even when they build townhomes next to each other, very often they have firewalls in between.
Well, when they're adjoining the middle wall, the party wall, will be a rated wall. But that's not,
Not adjoining. No.
You got a little space. It's not elegant, but it's his house.
Yeah, I have no exception to that. Like I said, it's with family, so we would do, go the extra step to do that, And the plan is to do it, metal roof to match the existing house. We would use cement board and fire retardant insulation. That's the plan.
Yeah, if that's the plan. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I have no problem with
And
it.
I would assume, you wouldn't want the shed to match the house. You build a nice new, big, beautiful house.
Exactly. No,
right?
it's
Why
all
would you
gonna
have a
be
shed
done
that's a
over. We
nice-
didn't want to do it yet until we got the acceptance.
Cement board's your rating.
Right.
It's a 2-hour rated product.
It's like a hardy board or some other kind of cement
Yep.
fiber board, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, the original intent was to tear down the garage. But I suppose anybody that hoped to keep a structure that that required a variance might say that during the planning, right, during the subdivision process. Oh, we're gonna get rid of that later. We just want to keep it for construction materials. And then come for what looks like a, fairly routine variance, but there's some danger there.
Yeah, and in terms of precedent, but I would agree, but I think that circumstance would happen more in a 1,500 square foot house and a two-thing. When you're building a 5,000 square foot house, I don't see that, I don't see this adding to the value of the house per se. I don't think it's a financial.
Not as it's probably not as it sits, probably would devalue the house as it sits. But I mean, there are plans to make it, bring it up to the standard of the house, it sounds like. So, which probably would add some value.
What's intended to be stored in the shed?
Just storage for lawn equipment, things like that. Yeah. Not to take away from the 3-car garage.
And there's electricity in the storage shed. Is there any plumbing in there?
No, just lighting. No heat, just lighting.
So Tom, did you say, so the variance request is for 8 foot 9 inches? And what is the requirement?
13 feet 6 inches
13.6 is the requirement based on the height calculation you
of the
explained
adjacent
earlier.
building, which is the principal dwelling, yes.
So the separation is 4 feet 9 inches, a little less than 5 feet. I guess that's bigger than a hallway, right?
So it's a substantial variance by those
Are you
terms.
including the roof in that calculation? Overhang.
There's an overhang too, yeah.
Projection.
We allow people less than 6'4".
I see the practicality of having the shed. I just don't like the fact that it's a self-imposed hardship for such a variance of a significant size.
With proper planning, this could have been all avoided.
I would say that mitigating is that he's only affecting himself. He's not asking for a variance from his neighbors. And so it's his house. I think that standard changes a little bit where
Well,
forfeit from the property line to give this, but if he fits the other ones, I'm more.
we're not the planning board, we're the zoning. board.
Yeah, I mean, I would have been more concerned if the state, presumably, since these type of variances are for safety reasons, particularly fire. If this was, given that our code is significantly more restrictive than the state, it makes me a little less concerned. I presumed that answer would have been different. I didn't think it would be 3 feet. So
If the state was 10 feet, then I'd be really concerned about this, because then I'd be saying.
He'd be before a different Board of Appeals. Different board of state.
We wouldn't have the ability to grant.
Yeah.
Sir, can you tell me what is the distance, now that we've talked about it, between the patio in between the house and the shed and the roof line of the shed? How much space is there? Could you have 7 feet there or something that someone could walk through?
Well,
without hitting their head?
that walkway, there's different, because there's a fireplace jug out, so it differs there. The closest is at 4 or 5 feet, but then it goes out to like 8 feet towards the back of the
No,
shed.
no, what I'm talking about, if you were to walk through there,
The height of the roof.
the height of the roof, like
Of the
you see, if you walk through the shed
Oh,
has
yeah,
a
no,
little bit of
it's-
overhead.
It's above headlight.
It's above.
Oh,
How-
yeah.
How tall would it be about?
I could walk underneath it with no problem.
Yeah.
So maybe 7 feet?
7 or 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
The height of a garage, it's on the foundation, so it would be the height of a garage.
Okay, I just want to get a feel that it's.
Yeah, that's at full height. Yeah.
Okay.
There's standing room in the garage, just like a normal garage.
Okay. Any further questions of the applicant right now before we go out to the public? Okay, does anyone here or online have any questions or comments in regard to this application? As indicated, you can use any one of the numbers provided. Call in and you can be passed into the meeting. Okay, it doesn't look like we have any comments. No one wants to speak. Any further comments from the board? Any questions? Comments, discussions amongst us about this? Okay, sir, do you have anything else to add?
No,
Okay.
A quick question, Tom, do you see situations like this where you have these garages that are close to, is this a fairly common thing throughout town?
I've seen a couple similar applications in the past that were considered. I know of one that was considered and approved, and it was an accessory garage. I think it required 2 variances, separation and side yard. But it wasn't there, you know.
And from a building perspective, this sort of thing doesn't give you any significant concerns, safety or otherwise.
No, again, the state code addresses all the, you know,
Right.
all the fire separations and minimum standards for building construction.
You know, if we did approve this, I would still like to put a condition that the applicant use, you know, metal roof, fiberboard or cement board on the outside, you know, fire retardant insulation. I think those things are just a reasonable request. And if you're going to do it anyway, why
that's
not?
going to be done. Yeah.
If that's
I
going to be
can
done,
guarantee
then,
you.
you know, I would, you know,
Yeah.
maybe be apt to consider this application.
Well, that would compel them then to make the improvements.
Yes,
You were saying this variance. Can we do that? We can do that? Sure.
we can put conditions. He's
Conditions.
coming to us for a variance, you know, we can put, reasonable conditions on it. And I think that's more than a reasonable condition. Your intent is to renovate the shed anyway, right? And to
Yeah.
do these improvements, so.
Yes.
It's almost like we're not really asking anything. I mean, I still don't like that this is self-imposed, you know? This is a self-created problem. It's not like it's pre-existing or, you can't work with it. You know, the house could have been shifted further away, you know? I know there might have been other obstacles.
Yeah, and it's just the cost of replacing that shed. You know, it might be, $20,000-$30,000 to replace that shed somewhere else.
Right.
So to renovate it and fix it up would be less costly than constructing it somewhere else.
I would say he could connect it to the house and it would no longer be a separate structure and we wouldn't have an issue. So he sounds like he's willing to do improvements. And anything we ask for, like our law says there has to be a nexus, right? And it has to be somewhat proportionate. And this seems to meet that test, right? We're saying we have a concern with fire safety because it's very close and he's willing to address that. I think that's a good approach.
Yep.
What about the substantial nature of the variance? You don't have a problem.
Because it's only towards his own house, I don't see an issue with it.
And it's more than state codes. Right. If he wasn't meeting state code, I think I'd have much more of an issue with this. So, okay. Okay, are we ready to vote in regard to this application? Yes. Sir, any further comments? Last chance? Nope. Okay. Can we have a motion as to the type of action?
Type 2.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Hi.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion as to whether we're going to accept or deny the application and what conditions we may or may not put on it?
I move we accept the application as proposed.
Did you want to consider, Bill, conditions of the building, of renovating the building with the materials we discussed?
Sure.
Okay, those materials, I think, just to be clear, in the motion, I think was metal roof matching the residence, cement board, on the outside, fireproof insulation, and a renovation that matches the existing dwelling, which I believe the applicant has said all of those things.
Yeah, it's going to be done.
Okay.
Can we say fire retardant?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Fire retardant. Okay.
Is the interior of the building finished? Is it drywall on the walls or is it just, you see the framing?
The house, the new house?
No, the accessory.
No, it's just exposed beams.
Okay.
It's not finished. No. No.
So he's suggesting metal roofing and cement siding. right? We don't,
No,
That's-
we can finish it with sheetrock.
okay.
Yeah, we can finish it with sheetrock,
Well, I
insulate
was
it
just-
and
Yeah, I was
sheetrock.
asking because
Sure.
he's gonna be using fire retardant insulation. That's gonna be installed interior,
Yes.
not exterior. So if he's got to take sheet rock, I'm trying to get a sense of what's involved.
We can even do fireproof sheetrock if you want to do that
Better
too.
yet. There's probably more flammables being stored within.
Yeah, we can insulate it and use fireproof sheetrock. Yeah.
Thank you. I think it's good for your side too here.
Yeah, no.
It's like, listen,
It was gonna be done anyway.
right. You don't want to lose a nice new house like this or anybody get injured.
Right.
Obviously. Okay. Okay, so Bill's motion stands. Do we have a second?
I'm sorry, I did not know who said that.
That was Paul. Paul,
Thank you, Paul. Okay, Misty Polito,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations, sir. Your
Good.
application has been granted.
Great, thank you.
Next item on the agenda this evening is that of Anthony Percio and Adriana Duquez. This is an application for a rear yard variance to expand an existing deck to an existing one-family dwelling in an R10 residential district at 22 Lakeview Terrace, Amawalk. Is someone here to represent the applicant in person or online?
Yes, I'm online. Anthony Percio.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Percio. How are you?
Good. How are you this evening?
Good. And do you reside at 22 Lakeview Terrace?
I do.
Okay. Can you briefly describe your application for us?
Yes, so the application is for the rear yard variance of I believe it's approximately 7 feet. We bought this house July 2020. And there was an existing deck in the rear yard on the property. And it was on the plans that we received from 1975. It's on that survey, the deck is. The deck extends to the rear yard approximately 12.6 feet. The rear yard variance for my district is 25 feet. But I'm seeking the variance because we want to extend the deck, not going any further towards the rear yard, but rather across to the side yard, kind of like to come around the corner of the house, just to give us more space on the deck because we do a lot of entertaining. We're a family of 5. So we wanted to extend it across. Spoke with Tom and we couldn't find a variance on file for the original deck. I did have my architect come out to look at the deck under Tom's request to verify if it was original construction, which he did confirm and did provide a letter stating that it was original. And that's basically the application.
So even if the applicant here, Tom, wasn't asking for the deck addition, the existing deck still needs a variance.
Yeah, but it was covered under a previously issued CO.
It was, okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And there's no side yard issue here? Looks like he has 15.6 feet.
Yeah, I'll be within the side yard variance, at the distance I'm going out.
Setback, right.
Yes,
So 25, so the backyard here is 25 feet required, 18.7 exists, so you're looking for 6.3 feet.
yes.
Okay, 6 feet, 3 inches, I guess it may be.
Yeah,
Okay.
the way the house was constructed, it's it's tucked in the back corner of the lot. So, the house sits approximately 30 feet from the rear yard. So, with the 12.6 deck as it exists now, it's already over, but, I thought since it was on the plans, I bought the house that way, that I wouldn't have any issues where I'm at now. But that's why I'm seeking the variance.
Okay, I also see a letter here dated August 2022 from, I guess it's your architect, who indicated to the building department that in his opinion, the deck is original with the house. So this is not something that was recently built.
Right.
Yeah, I requested that because I was curious whether the deck as the footprint existed would be requiring a variance, or if that deck was covered under the original CO.
Okay,
I would have extended the applicant to legalize with, the portion of the deck, which may have been constructed afterwards, but it was not.
okay. How high does this deck sit off the ground?
I would say approximately 4 to 5 feet.
Okay.
And I sit a lot lower in my lot versus my two neighbors. I'm on a corner lot. So I have a neighbor at the side and a neighbor at the rear. And their house is basically like they're up on a hill. So as far as like usable property, like they don't really use that property. That's where my property line ends.
And your neighbors to the rear, how close would you say their house is to your deck?
I don't have an approximate estimation. I would say 100 feet.
Really?
100 feet's quite a bit. Your whole backyard property line is 104 feet.
Okay.
So
Oh, the
probably
whole,
No.
so maybe more like 50, 60?
Yeah, because an R10 is a 10,000 square foot lot, so yeah, I would think, right, okay. And Tom, this property is, I guess, has a side yard and a backyard, doesn't have two side yards, right?
The way I interpret the code is each lot, there's nothing indicating a corner lot has two front yards. So the front
Right.
yard is indicated by where the house fronts, the front door.
Right,
Side of the street, as long as it has the minimum frontage required, in this case, 75 feet. So I'm looking at it as a front yard, two side yards and a rear yard.
right, that makes sense.
Yeah, my other side yard faces the street and it's got the driveway in it.
Right,
I believe that piece of Lakeview Terrace was just a paper road at the time of permit issuance for this house originally.
okay.
So, or vice versa, Shadow Lane.
Right.
The other.
Okay, any comments or further questions from board members?
Have you spoken to your neighbors about this application?
Yeah, like Denise mentioned earlier, it's been mailed out to my neighbors. A few of them did reach out and ask what it was about, what it was regarding. And I did, speak to them about it. Actually, my neighbor that is in the rear of me built this original deck. So
Okay.
So it's his fault.
it's his fault. That's right. And he's gonna help me build the new one. I don't know, maybe.
But the neighbors seemed to be receptive. There was no balking about it.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Any further questions of the applicant at this point in time? Any comments? No. Okay, why don't we go out to the public? Is there anybody here or online who wishes to speak in regard to this application? We'll just give a couple of minutes. Sir, is there anything additional would like to say in regard to your application?
No, not at the moment. Just that we utilize the deck a lot. The property itself doesn't have that much usable space. The rear yard is quite small and it's all flagstone patio. The front yard is mostly sloped. Can't really build that up because of the septic. And then like I said, so we do a lot of time on the deck and just wanted to make it a little bigger for the kids and whatnot.
Okay.
What type of screening, trees, shrubbery do you have to the rear?
There's a few trees on the property line. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, I'm just thinking as privacy noise barriers for the neighbors.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the deck as it sits now basically faces his deck, his side of his deck. Because my rear faces his side of his house. And his deck extends out that way as well, so our decks are kind of facing each other.
Okay, it doesn't look like we have any comments from anyone, so we'll move on. Okay, last chance for the board. Any comments, questions, discussion points?
I know Tommy addressed this, but I'm just a little confused. How are you what do you call front and side yards on and rear on this?
The rear yard is where the existing deck is and the proposed deck.
So then,
So
is the
that,
front yard shadow lane
correct,
without regard to him entering on Lakeview, that doesn't matter. Or is the Lakeview also? a
correct.
front
No,
yard?
his house, his front door, his house front shadow lane
Okay, so it doesn't matter that he's coming off of Lakeview,
for his driveway.
his driveway.
No,
Doesn't
it's,
matter. This is the front yard and these are sides and that's rear, right?
yes.
Okay. I have nothing else.
Okay. Any further comments? Questions? Sir, any final comments you have before we vote on this application?
Not at this time, no.
Can we have a motion as the type of action?
Type 2.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion as to whether we're going to grant or deny the applicant?
I'll make a motion to grant a 6-foot, 3-inch variance, rear yard setback variance.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations, sir. Your application has been granted.
Great, thank you so much.
Okay, have a good evening.
You too, take care.
Okay, the next item on the agenda this evening is that of Kathleen Furman. This is an application for an area variance for the distance between an existing in-ground swimming pool and a proposed pavilion to an existing one-family dwelling in an R40 residential district at 17 Country Hollow Drive, Amawak. Is someone here to represent the applicant?
Yes, I am. My name is Kevin Walter.
Okay, and what is your standing to the application?
I'm actually a representative for the Furmans. I'm the builder of the pavilion.
You're the, I'm sorry, what was that? I missed that.
I'm the contractor that's building the pavilion.
Okay, okay. All right, sir, can you briefly describe the application here?
So basically, I don't know if you have a copy of the landscape architect plans. But the Furmans-
We do.
Yeah, we do. We have a copy. Yep.
So the Furmans have this beautiful backyard, and if anybody knows Mayapack Avenue, their house basically sits right in the middle of the horse farm on Mayapack Ave. So they have this beautiful backyard with a pool, fire pit, hot tub that they have put in. The one problem is that there's basically no trees in the area. There's no shading. So sitting outside on the patio by the pool, it obviously gets very hot during the summer. And obviously with the horse farm, it also gets extremely buggy at night. So the pavilion was introduced as a way to have a covered area and a enclosure where they can sit outside and enjoy their backyard without being troubled by the insects.
And the variance being sought here, let's take a look here. So 10
Yeah,
feet is
for-
required. You're
Correct.
proposing 4 feet 6 inches. You're proposing 4 feet 6 inches. So the variance will be 5 feet 6 inches.
Correct. So I was unclear of whether or not the actual variance pertained to the roof overhang or the post. That's why I put two different measurements in there.
And why can't you build the pavilion just a little further away? Is the landscaping and
Yeah, so on the south side of the property, it's getting very close to the neighbor's property in the setback. On the west side of the property is their driveway, which also it's a tiered wall that goes up to a hot tub. So the north side, we were thinking about that, and Kathleen had actually spoken to the building inspector and asked if we can come up with any other viable options. But the one issue is that on the north side, there's a fire pit, and from the house, there's all underground gas lines that are running to that fire pit, which would be an undertaking to try and move. The east side of the property, which actually faces the horse farm, it's actually a double tiered wall. So each wall is about 28 inches into the backyard. So to try and relocate or rebuild that whole wall would probably cost more than actually constructing the pavilion.
what's the square footage of the pavilion?
It's a 12 by 20, so it would be 240 square feet.
That's smaller.
The variance is just from his own pool?
No, the variance is for the pavilion.
Huh?
From the pool to the pavilion?
Setback from the pool.
So he's only,
This,
yeah, it's only from the pool to the pavilion?
right.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're calling the pool a structure, so he needs a variance for that?
It's our second close proximity application of the night.
I have absolutely no issue with putting a pavilion. next to the pool. It's where it belongs. And
I don't know, Tom, is there some issue we're missing here as to maybe why this would be problematic?
I don't see any.
I think with a pool there, we probably could not worry about the fire aspect, right?
Correct.
Oh, it's plenty far from the house for that.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I was saying it's plenty far from the house, so there's no problems with that.
Yes, I certainly see that, yeah.
And the pool is definitely fenced, right? So this is within the fenced enclosure. It's not
Correct, but basically the
safety
whole,
issue of access.
correct, the whole perimeter of the backyard is fenced in by building code.
What's the square footage of the main residence?
Oh, that I don't have available. I'm not sure.
Okay. And this pavilion that you're gonna build, it's, what is it gonna be attached to the patio area?
Basically, we would have to open up the patio and install footings by building code. And then basically reinstall all the pavers, and then the pavilion would be built on top of that.
How tall is the pavilion?
From the patio to the soffit or the top of the fascia board is a little over 8 feet, about 8 feet 3 inches.
So you don't seem to have a problem with it, Bart.
no. I think it's I wouldn't have called both of them structures.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said that they would both need the variance. without double checking our definitions.
Right.
In most communities, you wouldn't need a variance in between a pool and a pavilion. They would naturally be next to each other. There wouldn't be any setback requirements. I have no issue in doing that. It looks like a lovely place to do it.
Okay. Any further comments from board members before we go out to the public?
No, I agree. It's gonna enhance the aesthetic of the property and it's not infringing on anyone else but the owner of the property.
I can't really see how this is an issue of danger or otherwise. And
Maybe we could suggest a change to the zoning code.
Well,
to
like
be
it's
more
a-
in
I
tune
did
With
write
the
this
building.
definition.
Building sense.
It's not what I did discussion, but.
I remember this discussion, so
So
it's self-imposed
it
pain,
is a
yes.
self-imposed hardship.
All right, so let's go out to the public. Is there anybody here in the room or online who wishes to speak in regard to this application? Any comments or questions? Sir, is there anything further you'd like to add before we get ready to vote on this?
No, not from myself, other than the fact I'd just like to thank Denise and Tom again because they were unbelievably helpful to us.
Great to hear. Okay, I think is the board ready or any further comments?
I think we're ready.
All right, can we have a motion as the type of action?
Make a motion type 2.
Second,
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Have a motion whether we're going to grant or deny the application?
I'll make a motion to grant the application as submitted.
Second,
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Congratulations, sir. Your application has been granted.
Great, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
You too, sir.
Okay, last item on the agenda this evening is that of UB, which I think is Erstad Biddle. Somers Inc. Application for a height variance for a fence for a proposed garden center for a proposed Tractor Supply retail store in a shopping center in a neighborhood shopping district at 80 Route 6 Baldwin Place. Sir, could you please give us your name and standing in regard to the application?
Yes, my name's Willing Biddle. I'm president of UB Somers Inc., which is the owner of the shopping center. And I'm here tonight with Andy Albrecht, who's head of construction for us. And also on the Zoom is Eleanor Biddle, who's the leasing agent of the property, Matt Darling, who represents Tractor Supply, and I believe Brad Matizek, who is the architect for Tractor Supply. And I have some plans I'd like to give you. if I
Sure,
could.
bring them up.
I don't have a way to put them up on Zoom, but
Yeah, if you want, maybe if what you could do, if you could pin them up on the board there.
We have them. This is
Oh.
the set we have.
Isn't this what we have?
You have this one now.
The elevation.
We do not have that one.
Yeah, these are additional items that Wing just sent to me on Monday. They're not in your packets.
Thank you.
We can also share a couple also. Maybe if you could put that up on the board, also just pin it up. Because
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we get started, Brad, for the record, could you please spell for me your last name?
I can spell it for you, Denise. It's Matuzak. And Matt Darling is Darling.
Yeah, I have those. Thank you, Wing.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
okay, so in a nutshell, let me explain. As you may know, we're in front of the other town boards for approval of a Tractor Supply, which will be leasing most of the existing home goods space at Somers Commons. And as part of their construction and their store, they are going to build about a 15,000 square foot outdoor garden area in which they're going to have, garden materials and plants, and they also store some equipment like lawn mowers and other things that they sell. And so they, as part of their prototype store design, they need to have a fence around this garden area. And if you look at the plan that has, there's a site plan. It's a little hard to tell, but it shows you the outdoor garden area, which is the yellow and green area adjacent to the store. The store is in gray. The green and yellow area, outside area, is on the side of the gym, if you can orient yourself that way. And so there'll be doors at either end, gates to that garden area. And then, which I just handed out, is an architectural rendering of what the gates the gates and the fences will look like. So the reason that we're here before you tonight is your town code says you can't have fences higher than 6 feet. And the request for a variance is Tractor Supply would like to have the fence surrounding its garden area be 8 feet, which is their prototype. And the reason for that is there's going to be a lot of valuable stuff in there. And Somers is a great town, but something might disappear in the middle of the night if it's not high enough for somebody to easily jump over. And so the garden area is on a little bit of a grade. It needs to be leveled, and one side of it is about 2.5, 3 feet higher than where the building floor slab is. The side which is on the gym side is a little bit higher. The ground is a little bit higher, so it needs to be a retaining wall, and the gate, the fence will be constructed on top of the retaining wall. So on that side, it will be 8 feet high, and then you can see how it steps down when you're facing the store to be 8 feet all along. But there's a little section that will actually be a little bit higher than 8 feet because of that grade change.
The existing sidewalk remains, so that I assume that the fence would be on the inside.
Yes. Yep. The existing sidewalk slopes up a little bit.
This proposed area outside, which is in the yellow and green, which on the site plan I'm looking at is to the left. What is there now?
There's just a grassy area.
It's just grassy area there.
Yep, a couple small trees.
Okay.
There's a picture here, Vic, if you want. If you can.
Oh, okay. So there's no building there. There's no parking lot. It's just a grassy area. Okay.
That's correct.
Correct. Okay. And are you taking over the whole, the gray area is the existing or was the existing home goods property?
Yes, we're taking over, Tractor Supply is leasing about 27,300 square feet of the 30,000 square foot home goods space. That'll leave a little over 2,000 square feet for a small store, which will be between the entrance to Tractor Supply and the entrance to Goodwill.
And you're not leasing that, that would be somebody else.
That'll
Whoever
be
that may
that'll be another tenant. Yeah.
Okay.
We haven't identified who will go there yet.
And this indoor display area that's also in yellow, that's just part of the existing or part of the existing what used to be home goods.
No, that's an outside area. That's the grassy area.
No, I'm talking about on the right-hand
Oh,
side.
yes, yes. That's
It
part
says
of the,
indoor display area. I
Yeah.
assume that was part of the home goods store.
yeah, that's that's interior to the store.
Okay.
It's within the Tractor Supply proposed footprint.
Why is that broken out separately there? I'm just curious as to.
This is really a design plan internally to Tractor Supply when they're laying out their store, and they designate certain areas to certain functions.
Okay. So the only place the fence is proposed is when I'm looking at the plan again on the left-hand side around the green and yellow area.
Correct. 3 sides of the garden center.
Okay.
2 sides will have gates, the front and back, and the long side along the gym side will have no openings.
I see. And the,
So,
I'm sorry, just one more thing. And the fencing that you're going to put up is what is indicated on this plan. It looks like probably an aluminum or some other type of picket black fence.
Yes.
No chain link, nothing like that. Yeah, aluminum too. Okay.
and from anywhere along the top end of that enclosed area, on the outside, on the far left of your screen there, you see the 8-foot dimension of the fence height. If you're on the sidewalk or you're in the roadway outside of that enclosure, you're gonna see the 8 feet of the fence. From inside, when you're standing in the garden center looking at that fence, it will be slightly taller than it because of the 2-foot retaining wall. For the source.
There's nothing proposed on the top of the fence.
No.
Just that what we see is will be the finished top of the fence.
They don't use barbed wire and electric fences yet. Keep it black.
I don't think it would be necessary, but yeah.
And I think I heard something mentioned in a planning board meeting. Is it match other existing fence nearby around the cell tower or something? to that
No.
effect, or-
There really is no other. comparable-
Sir, if you could just go a little closer to the microphone, just so we can hear you at home. Yeah.
Sorry, there is no other really comparable fencing. The cell tower is more solid, like a stockade, to completely screen the equipment in that enclosure, the generator and stuff. So it's kind of a one of a kind there.
You can see through this fence to entice you to come buy lawnmowers.
And I
So
see,
how will someone who sees something over here in the yellow and green area pay for it? They go back into your building?
He goes into the store. There's an opening from the store into the green and yellow area, kind of like you'd have at Home Depot into a garden center.
I see.
And you have the option to either take the item out of the green and yellow area, bring it into the store, ring it up and leave, or you can get a ticket and you can drive around and go in one of those gates and drive through that garden center. If it's a heavy item and someone will put it in your car or your truck.
Wow.
I see outside of the main building, there's something listed as permanent trailer and equipment display area in pink.
Yes,
Can you describe that and
yeah,
what fencing or anything is, if anything's being proposed around that area?
no fencing proposed around that area. That is just, some of the items they sell are lawnmowers, small hitch trailers that you would put on the back of a pickup truck, a small little trailer that you might carry, I don't know, a lawnmower on or some pallet of something. And they don't store those inside their store for display. So they have a display area outside for those. So you'll see riding mowers lined up there, these little trailers, that sort of stuff. And so that's their permanent display area for that kind of equipment.
How do they secure them?
They don't, you just can't, they're heavy. You can't really.
It would be hard for somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and typical chains through the wheel hubs. and
So they
stuff.
can't roll them off.
No.
Someone can't hitch them up and take them away.
It's like the snowblowers in front of Home Depot. They're looped through with the cable or the kryptonite cable to just secure them from being taken.
Okay.
Um,
And of course, planning board will have to approve the locations of these
yes, sir.
exterior displays and all that. That's not our
Yeah.
purview. So.
Yep, I think the only thing we need a variance for is the height of the fence.
Also in this fenced-in area, it looks like you're gonna have some covering of some type over
Yes, there's going to be a,
rain covers. or
call it an open-sided greenhouse. It's, has a sort of plastic see-through roof to allow light in, but, doesn't, it inhibits frost from getting on plants in that area.
And once again, this will be the purview of the planning board to work out the details with you on all
Yep.
that.
Mhm.
The fence is just impacting the other commercial buildings in there. Right, we don't have any other neighbors which are gonna be bothered by it. It's just protecting their goods, it's just in between their other commercial properties. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't have wanted to vote for it.
Yeah, behind them is the bike, there's woods and then the bike
Yeah.
trail and then residential is way behind that.
There's a pretty good space behind them, so they're not, you got parking in between them and the trailway, you have space, parking everywhere else. I don't see what the externality is that we've done.
Yeah,
Somehow
and
mitigate.
it serves a legitimate business purpose. We'd rather see something like this occupy that space than it's empty. It's a large space.
Sure. Any further comments of board members before we go out to the public? Okay, since there's no one else in the room, is there anyone online who wishes to speak in regard to this application? Please use one of the numbers on screen, give us a call and we can patch you into the meeting. Did either of you gentlemen have any further comments at this point in time? Anything else we should be aware of?
No, just, it's a great store. You're gonna love it. Just got to get them open as soon as possible.
All right, so you're requesting a 2-foot height variance for the fencing. 6 is automatic, but 8, you're gonna want to go to 8 feet, obviously.
Yes.
Is there a section where it's higher that you want to have a variance for 8.6?
No, I think
They,
it's,
they were satisfied with 8 as
Yeah.
as their prototypical standard.
I just thought I saw the sidewalks open.
well, I
Great.
pointed it out just so that everyone's aware of it, that, the question is, how do you, measure the height of a fence? Is it? So, I mean,
Should be from normal grade up, yeah, but
so there will be,
Well, from normal grade up, it's 8 feet, so it's not a problem.
Well,
From
well,
from the sidewalk up, it'll probably.
there is one little section there. If you are standing at the post that
Halfway
not
up.
on the far left, but the next post over on the left, on the sidewalk which slopes up, the fence would be more than 8 feet above your head. It might be 9 feet.
we've had this discussion on how to measure fence.
I mean, normally I personally like to see fences follow grade.
It's a great length.
Without resolution, I believe.
Frankly, I would, in this circumstance, be happy to approve a higher variance. I'd hate to see somebody give you an issue over 6 or 8 inches because they're counting the retaining wall as part of your distance from grade. Because frankly, the average grade is of course the sidewalk or the road.
Correct.
So
That sidewalk will not change. The existing sloping grass grade up to the retaining wall won't change elevation either. Therefore, yeah. It's which side of the fence you standing on?
yeah, fair enough. Well,
I mean, to be completely safe, if you're in the garden center, standing against that fence that's furthest away from the building, it would be about 8 feet plus 3 feet. The drop down for the little retaining wall on the inside, so it would be 8 plus 3 or 11 feet.
But from the grade outside, it's 8 feet.
Yeah, it's
And
8
it's
feet.
just the adjustment of the grade.
Yeah.
That post in the middle.
Yeah.
So I think we should stick to 8 feet.
Yep.
Okay, so no comments from the public. Any further comments from the board? Questions? discussions?
I would just echo Melissa's comments. The pandemic has been hard on retailers. And it's nice to see someone investing in Somers.
Okay. Gentlemen, any further questions, comments? Nope. Nope. Okay, let's have a motion as to the type of action.
Type 2.
Second.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Harden,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
And we have a motion whether we're going to accept or deny the application for a 2-foot fence variance.
I move that we accept.
Second.
Paul, that was you.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Harden,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Mr. Padavani,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations, your application has been granted.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
I just wanted to make a comment too that Denise was very, very helpful with this whole process for us.
Okay.
She made it very easy for us.
That's great
Thank
to
you.
hear. All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
luck,
Wayne.
gentlemen. Take care. Two other things I'd just like to mention. Denise had sent us a copy of the resolution and some additional documentation from engineers. We had approved an application of John and Janine Greco a couple months back. Actually, more than that, quite a while ago. Actually, well, I shouldn't say that, in May of 2022. If you may recall, this was an application for a driveway. They requested getting their driveway paved. And we had put some restrictions on regarding engineering and other things that we wanted to see done and some other issues. Tom, I assume that everything has been complied with at this point in time, as far as we know that they've fulfilled their requirements. And Denise just wanted to update us with that information that it has been complied with.
Yeah, the board had asked to be kept, abreast of what was going on. I don't believe the engineering permits were just issued for wetlands. I don't think the work has begun yet, but it's going to be under review, the entire project, by the planning and engineering department.
Okay.
So they're complying with everything that we had
Correct.
put as a condition upon their application's
Yes.
approval, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's good. I remember that. That
right.
was the driveway and they had like the pond and the wetlands on the other side. And I
Yes.
mean, timely, they wanted it to be done for winter to avoid the ice, so.
Yeah. So, okay. All right, so just to give everybody an update on that. Last thing we have to vote on, has everyone had a chance to look at the meeting minutes for July 19th? Tom Newman was acting chairman at that meeting. I was not present. So any changes, questions, or issues regarding the minutes?
No.
No. So we'll then just approve by verbal consensus. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Denise, we can finalize the July 19, 2022 minutes.
Thank you.
Last thing I will make mention of tonight, our next meeting, our meetings are generally the third Tuesday of every month. Our next meeting will be October 18th, 2020. So we'll see everyone at that time. Any further matters or issues we have to discuss? Anybody had any other issues of any kind? Nope. Nope. Okay, it is nice to see everybody back in person, and it is good that hopefully this pandemic is ending at this point in time. So, okay, with that being said, I'm going to say good night to everyone, and we will see you next month. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom, for your help as always.